I was about 3-4 months pregnant, and they never really told me how it transpired that you guys ended up back together. So I always assumed that you guys rebuilt a relationship on getting back at me jointly.
Sabrina was like my first relationship ever.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like comfortable.
But you expressed a lot of hate for her while we were together, and I mean, your guys' custody case was just as dramatic and toxic and vindictive, if not more, than ours. So when you went to jail, suddenly she starts showing up at your court dates and she starts meddling in our cases, and slowly but surely you guys ended up back together. So to me, I perceived it as you guys joined forces against me because you were angry at me and she always hated me. It was always, I think, fun for her. And so at that point, I'm pregnant and vulnerable and going through all this shit, and then you guys kind of teamed up. So from an outsider looking in, I guess explain to us how you ended up back there.
Yeah, so she started helping out. She went talked to my mom all the time. She went and hung out with my family and just kind of showed that she cared.
But she was in a relationship during this time with Steve.
She was in a relationship at the time, but she was always over there. And I don't know, she just made me feel like she cared, like she, wanted help, wanted to be there. It was weird because I would talk to her here and there when I was in jail, and all she would do is cry. It's like, why would somebody cry for you if they didn't care for you? Mm-hmm. That's kind of how I felt. So when I got out of jail, she brought my daughter over, hung out with Maya, and then she'd bring her around more often, and then she'd like, oh, I'm going to come in and say hi to your mom, or oh, I'm going to this and that, started hanging out. And then she was like, I don't know, she's pretty good at playing games, and she somehow convinced me she didn't care about him, she cared about me, and that's why she was always with my mom and dad, and I was in jail, and that's kind of how it all happened. And she cheated on him with me, and it's just...
And so then you guys ended up like officially back together while I was pregnant, right? So I'm pregnant with our second baby, and you guys are in a full-blown relationship, which I think for some time you tried to kind of conceal it, and I don't know if that was because you felt bad or whatever, but eventually, she started running with it on social media, and you probably weren't aware of all the stuff that was being posted on social media, but I think the hardest part about that pregnancy was watching you love someone else while I was pregnant with your daughter. And to this day, like, I remember like fighting with you about it, and I would ask you, like, can you just have her not post stuff, like, just while I have the baby, because it was really hard for me to see it. Like, people would send it to me, I would look for it myself, like, it was almost like I was poisoning myself, putting salt in my own wounds, and that I couldn't wrap my mind around how could he get back with her, much less now. And I would think, like, I would tell you, like, can't you guys just wait at least until I have the baby to be out there, like, in a full-blown relationship? Because it was painful. Like, it was fucking painful. It was I think that was the lowest as a woman I've ever felt. Like, I'm pregnant with his child, and I have to watch him love someone else. Love the person that hurt me, that hurt our kids. And you just were, like, living your life.
I know, I bet it was hard. I remember I would tell her to just fucking stop. Like, just leave her alone.
Did you guys not feel bad? Did she?
I did, and that's why I tried to not tell. Like, I told her not to post nothing. I would never really post shit here and there. Like, what I would post, it would be on Snap.
Did she not feel bad? Did she not feel like it was wrong to be with you while I was pregnant with your child after all the shit that happened between all of us? Did she not feel, like, ashamed or anything?
I think to her it was, like, funny.
Yeah.
Like, funny to fuck with somebody.
Mm-hmm.
She's very malicious. She likes to feel good about herself, making others feel like shit.
So when I went into labor with DGs, so you guys were together,
Mm-hmm.
and you guys were still sorting out your cases, and I'm sorting out my cases. At this time, I've been charged with the felonies. We're going to court for custody, and you and Sabrina are together with Michelle on your shoulder, doing all this shit. And so you claim, like, you had no idea about a lot of stuff that was going on. What did you know about everything that was being done? back and forth?
I didn't know a whole bunch. I was just fucking careless. Like, her and Michelle kind of did things between themselves. Like, there's a lot we didn't know about. But whenever they would talk about it, or like say, oh, did you guys, oh, we did this. It was kind of like, just fucking leave her alone. Shut up. Like, stop fucking with her. But they got a kick out of it. Like, I remember my brother would get mad at her for fucking talking to Sabrina because all you guys do is talk about that bitch, yada, yada, yada. Like, it was just the drama. And then it got to the point where they wouldn't talk about it around us. They would just kind of keep it to themselves. Just have little inside jokes, I guess you could say, you know? Mm-hmm. So I didn't know, I wasn't aware about a bunch of shit, like all the shit you guys would do on social media. I wasn't aware until way later. Like, I don't remember if it was Sabrina or who showed me, like, oh, she posted this, and then we posted this, and she posted this online. And I'm like, you guys are going back and forth on fucking social media.
So I think after, like, the first 3 months when you were in jail, I was over. Like, all I wanted was peace, especially because I was pregnant. And I was going through a lot of my own stuff. So I remember several times where, like, I asked to talk to you. Remember when we went to the park to talk? Mm-hmm. Where I was like, look, let's just stop fighting. Let's agree. And we did. I took a paper and we wrote down everything that we were going to agree on. And we were talking. And I remember I told you I'm probably going to get deported. I'm looking at this. I'm facing felonies. And those felonies, you knew about. Because I was doing that shit while we were together. A lot
of my shit, like even my things that had nothing to do with you brought those into custody. You brought those into court too. So it wasn't about what we were doing together or what didn't affect the kids or didn't affect me. You was everything. Like, you grabbed anything you can grab onto.
Your drug use affected my kids.
You grabbed everything.
You're referring to the drug use that I brought in.
And everything else.
Like what?
The DUI?
Also affected my kids. You drove drunk with Maya. I watched you drive drunk with her. So when you and I split up, I had huge concerns that you would be driving drunk with my kids, that you would be using around my kids. And that's valid because I wasn't there anymore to make sure you weren't.
I wasn't driving drunk with her. I was buzzed, but I wasn't fucking drunk.
And who determines, like, when you're drunk and buzzed? You know what I mean? So I'm never going to be okay with you driving buzzed with my kids. And because we weren't together anymore, I knew that I couldn't influence you anymore. So everything that I brought into that custody case, like, you saw it as me it was relevant to me. I had huge concerns. So when Juju's was born, you and I went together.
We weren't.
We had minimal interaction. Mm-hmm. Did you see Axel? I don't even remember if you were seeing Axel back then.
Here and there.
But it wasn't a lot because, honestly, I felt like your relationship with Sabrina interfered with your desire or want to be around more of the kids or deal with me because it affected your relationship with her.
I think it was pride.
Well, Juju was born. Let's talk about why you weren't there when she was born. I still opened the door for you to be there when I birthed her because I wanted her to have both parents when she came into this world. And I told you, and you didn't want to be there because of Sabrina. After she was born, I needed help in the hospital because I had surgery.
And I went.
No, you left. And you didn't come back because of Sabrina. Because you left, right? And you're like, I'll be back to help you at night. And then when you didn't, everybody left because they thought you were coming back. I couldn't even get out of bed because I had just had my tubes tied. And then when you didn't come back, you're like, well, you're over here posting pictures of us together like we're a happy family and it's pissing off my girl. So you didn't come back because of her. And that first night,
Sabrina was like,
because she didn't want you to have those moments with us. I believe that to this day. She didn't want you to experience that with us. And she didn't want us to have any type of bonding over our daughter because it would happen. Regardless of all the shit that was going on, we would have put it aside for that moment with her. And she kept you from that and you allowed it. Like, it's always been, you always prioritize the women in your life over your children. Do you see that?
I do. Because I like to please the person I'm with.
¿Y chinga tus hijos or what?
No, but it's like, I don't know. There was just so much emotions. Like, I'm not happy with not being there. Or when she was born, going to the hospital. Of course I wanted to be there. Like, I wanted to go back. But it was just like her constant bitching. Reminding me, she fucked you. She did this. She did that. She did this. She did that. It's like pumping it into my head. And I'm like, fuck. Like, I consider myself a really good person, and I don't hold grudges. I don't hold anything against anybody, and I always get the shit end of the stick. So when somebody's constantly telling me like, dude, da da da, don't do this, don't do that, you know what I mean? It's kind of
You're
like,
very easily influenced.
Yeah.
In general.
And I could see that in that situation because she did have a point. You did fuck me. You did do this. You did do that.
And you did a lot of shit to me, but I still allowed. Why didn't you see that? You did a lot to me too, both of you. And I still said, come see your daughter. Come be a part of her life. Come hold her. I didn't stay stuck like you because I loved her more than I hated you and Sabrina at the time. Because she deserved to have you there. It was about her. And I've always thought that way. Like, it's about them. Regardless of, that's why you're here. That's why I still talk to you. Because regardless of what I feel and what you did to me, it's them first. You know, so all that shit and all those instances of you constantly being stuck on what you felt for me and what I had done to you hurt them. And you robbed them of a lot of things. And I started to grow resentments towards Sabrina because of that. More than like the cheating and everything that you guys did, I grew anger towards her for what she like encouraged you to do. I know she encouraged you to turn your back on the baby. I know she encouraged you not to pay child support. I know she encouraged you to do all the fucked up shit that you did in court.
I don't know. I guess I wasn't thinking about all of that. At the time, it was just like, I just hated you.
You were
like
so
it was tunnel
angry.
vision. Yeah, tunnel vision, angry.
And you know why you stayed angry? Because you had nothing but hate around you for me. From Sabrina to Michelle to your family to your friends. That's what made you stay angry for so long. Because I know you're not a person that stays mad for very long. But because you had all those people around you, yeah, fuck her, yeah, she did this, yeah, blah, 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 you stayed there. And the minute that you broke up with Sabrina is when we began to co-parent. And you and Sabrina were done, that's when you and I started to kind of mend things in our co-parenting relationship. We started to talk more. We deviated outside of the court order. Remember, we were like sharing the kids outside of what the judge ordered. I think you were paying child support at some point. I remember when they were with you, I even offered you money. I sent you packages of clothes. And you always like declined the money, I think because you were too prideful. Rightfully so, because you owed me money. But like just, I don't think that you ever acknowledged that. Like I didn't agree with the custody situation at the time either, that they were with you. But that wasn't going to stop me from taking care of them because that was for them. I had spent a lot of money in the attorney's fees from the case fighting you from over here. But I still took care of them above that. I didn't agree that they were with my mom instead of being with me, but I still took care of them. You know, so once I was in that same position as you, as being the non-custodial parent and having to pay child support, although my kids weren't with me, I know what you felt having to pay child support to me. But I still did it because it was never for my mom or for you. It was for them.
Yeah.
And I think you weren't mature enough. I don't know if you still are mature enough, if you've gotten to that level of maturity to realize. Because up until you got back here, you weren't paying really child support. I have to pay things too, but I don't get to choose if my kids are the first thing I pay or the last. And that's what's so frustrating for parents that have these types of situations. They're not bills. They're little yous walking around with needs. You know? So after you and Sabrina why did you and Sabrina break up? So after you got back together, after you guys got back together, and I'm in Mexico, and the kids are back in Mexico with me after we've gone through all this shit with the custody case.
No, we broke up while the kids were still up there. We broke up before the kids were going to come out to you.
Okay.
The first time they were going to come out to you.
For visits, for my first visit.
Yeah. We broke up before that.
Why? Do tell. We love a happy ending.
Shut the fuck up. No, same shit. I mean, once a cheater, always a cheater. She cheated on her boyfriend with me, then she cheated on me with some other guy, and it's just like the domino effect, you know? Mm-hmm. She just keeps cheating.
Once a cheater, always a cheater. Okay, you said it. You said it, not me. Okay, so you guys break up. I feel like after you guys broke up is when you were nicer. It was easier to talk to you. You were more willing to work with me, and we started to get along.
But every girl I'm with, like, really dislikes you.
Me? Me.
Bitch, where?
Me. Why?
No, but like that's really how I feel, because it's like my.
Am I the drama?
You might be.
Actually, you're the common denominator in all of this.
But it's like I am the common denominator.
Okay, so let's pause there. Why did Sabrina not like me?
Sabrina doesn't like you because like you're my second girlfriend. Like she was my first serious girlfriend, and then it was you.
Because she never liked me from the get, even before like all the drama. Like she never gave me a fair chance.
She never gave me a fucking fair answer. It was just like, I've heard about that bitch. I've heard about her. Yada, yada, yada. But it was never like, why the fuck do you hate her so bad? Mm-hmm. She doesn't even got a fucking solid answer.
I don't think she knows. You know, actually, when her and I talked. So, after you guys broke up and some time passed, she reached out to me while I was living here. And she's the one that gave me all the receipts of all the shit that was done between her and Michelle. And we talked a lot for like months, you know, about everything that happened. And I asked her why she didn't like me from the beginning. And she did like admit that in the beginning she was intimidated by me because I had my own place, I had a job, I had a car. And at the time she was like living with her mom. She had just had Maya and like you weren't helping her. So she saw me as a threat. Like she said that to me after we've hashed everything out. But from there, I think it grew once I helped you like seek custody of, you know, your guys' kid and all that stuff, all the drama that unfolded. During that summer, we started talking again.
Oh, we started talking again.
We kind of both...
You started flirting again.
No. Don't do that. We're not doing that. I will pull up receipts. We both had unresolved feelings, I feel like.
Yeah.
Our
relationship started very strong, and then I cheated, I fucked up, so it kind of fell apart. But it was like a bunch of shit was there, unresolved feelings. I remember I would always tell you, don't say you hate me, because you'd be like, fuck you, I hate you. And I'm like, don't. That's stored feelings. Like you're just storing feelings. You're dragging feelings along. Mm-hmm. Like just let it go. And it went ugly too fast.
Right.
And when I broke up with Sabrina, kids came down to you. We started talking a lot. It started a lot with the kids. We started talking about the kids. You started telling me how you were doing out here, how life is so different, how it's so peaceful. I would always tell you because I would always talk about Mexico, like my cousins in Mexico, how they're always traveling, how they're always fucking going out, how they're always they look so much happier than people in the States. And you're like, yeah, it's so different here. It's this, it's that. And then we started flirting, talking every day. Good morning, good night, you know. So,
good morning, baby. Good night, baby. Yeah, you left that part out. Yeah, you did.
So we started talking again. I think we, sparked each other's...
Unresolved feelings.
Yeah. And...